Namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone. We begin with the session with our humble apologies due to tech issues, owing to which there has been a considerable delay in beginning the session. So, without further ado, I request Ms. Kriti to please recite the prayer. Kriti, yes, thank you so much.
नमस्तेस्तु महामाये श्रीपीठे सुरपूजिते शङ्खचक्रगदाहस्ते महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तु ते नमस्ते गरुडारूढे कोलासुरभयङ्करे सर्वपापहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तु ते महालक्ष्म्याष्टकं स्तोत्रं यः पठेत् भक्तिमान् नरः सर्वसिद्धिमवाप्नोति राज्यं प्राप्नोति सर्वदा एककाले पठे नित्यं महापापविनाशनं द्विकालं यः पठे नित्यं धनधान्यसमन्विता त्रिकालं यः पठे नित्यं महाशत्रुविनाशनं महालक्ष्मीर्भवे नित्यं प्रसन्ना वरदा शुभा महालक्ष्मीर्भवे नित्यं प्रसन्ना वरदा शुभा.
Thank you, Kritiji. So, without further ado, we begin the session of the day, which is Bloom's taxonomy. A really hot topic when we are teachers, whether to make the lesson plan, whether we should take Bloom's taxonomy, we should not take, how do we do it, everything. So, to walk us through Bloom's taxonomy, we have with us Shabnam ma'am, who is the principal of Rajiv Gandhi International School in Maharashtra. Now, she is somebody, the reason I'm taking a pause is because she is someone with a wide range of experience. And seriously, there are so many things she has done. She beginning her career as a biology teacher in a school in Kalyan, in a junior college in Kalyan, moving on to Badlapur and then moving on to Maregaon. She has a wide range of experience. She is currently working as a principal there in Maregaon. And in between, she was also working as a subject matter expert with EduAura Technologies. And as a subject matter expert, she was responsible for ensuring quality content to be delivered in the education sector. So, Shabnam ma'am, it's a great pleasure for all of us to have you here. Welcome, a very hearty welcome. And yes, we are looking forward to Bloom's taxonomy from you. Over to you, Shabnam ma'am.
I'm very happy to be here today. Indeed, it's a pleasure to be a part of Vidyadan. And I would like to congratulate the team Vidyadan for this great initiative of professional development for teachers and educators which you are providing. Like NEP 2020 has focused on the professional development and improving the quality of education. So Vidyadan is moving towards that. So I congratulate you, ma'am, Indira ma'am, and your team. This is the great initiative you have taken. So let me take you to today's topic. You all know that Bloom's taxonomy. You all are educators. I hope all are educators, teachers, principals. We all are using Bloom's taxonomy at some of the other stages of teaching and learning process. But somewhere we lag behind in implementing the Bloom's taxonomy. So that is why we are here today, to revise it, to relearn it, and to recapitulate the Bloom's taxonomy. So we will see what actually the Bloom's taxonomy is. We will see the little background about the Bloom's taxonomy, why we are revising it, and why there is a need to revise and recapitulate the Bloom's taxonomy. Some of you might be thinking we already know Bloom's taxonomy, so why this topic is included? So I would like to tell you that now the Bloom's taxonomy, now it is included, and the why we are discussing it. So I want to discuss it in the light of NEP 2020. So the aim of education, according to new education policy or any educational policy, is the all-round development or the holistic development of holistic development of child. Holistic development means the overall development of child. So in order to get that, or in order to develop the child in all the domains, the Bloom's taxonomy holds importance. So that's why we are here to revise it. So we will see what we are going to see today. So first of all, we will see the 3 domains of learning and thinking and its application. Then we will try to understand the levels of thinking, different levels of thinking, and then teaching objectives. Not only teaching objectives, we will also focus on the importance of Bloom's taxonomy in the process of evaluation and assessment. See, I hope many of you are trained teachers like those who have done D.Ed and B.Ed. So during that training, teachers might have learned about Bloom's taxonomy and different theories. Not only Bloom's taxonomy, there are some other theories like Gardner's multiple intelligence theory. So we learned at that time, but now this is the time we have got the opportunity and chance to implement those theories and improve the quality of education. So there is a lot of scope to improve in educational system. So therefore there is always a scope to learn and relearn and unlearn the things. Okay, like we need, as we say, all of us, we are lifelong learners. So there is always a scope to learn new things, and to relearn the things what we already know. We need to relearn it, and some things need to be unlearned. So there is always that scope. So let's proceed. So here you can see revisiting Bloom's taxonomy in the light of NEP. Why in the light of NEP? What NEP looks for it? Okay, so now NEP 2020, it is not in marks oriented anymore. It is outcome based policy, outcome based education. NEP talks about the outcome based education, child centric education, and the skill based education. It is not like scoring and marks now as it was in the past. So how Bloom's taxonomy, the grades, educational, the learning theory, or the thinking, the levels of thinking, how it can help us in the light of NEP, that we are going to see. You can see here a yardstick to educate, teaching and evaluation. In my thinking, Bloom's taxonomy is very much important in the process of teaching, learning, and evaluation. Objective-based teaching and evaluation. See, objective-based teaching and evaluation, what does it mean? Teaching and evaluation go hand in hand, and it should be objective-based, like the course we are giving to students, the lesson we are teaching, there is some kind of objective and aim. So some are course-based objectives and some are lesson-based objectives. Is there any issues? Hello?
Yes, madam, go ahead. Yeah, ma'am, you are perfectly audible.
Okay. So we will see the Bloom's taxonomy while writing teaching objectives, while how to do evaluation in the light of NEP and Bloom's taxonomy that we are going to see today. Here, downside of the slide, you can see Alvin Toffler's the saying. In 21st century, we can't say illiterate to those person who can't read or write, but the person who cannot learn, relearn, or unlearn the things. Basically, it means a student or a teacher, whoever is the learner, should be ready to learn, relearn, and unlearn the things. So if that person cannot do this, then we can say the person is illiterate. So the meaning of illiterate has been changed now. Before proceeding, I would like you all to give to try to give the answer of this question, which is the highest level of cognitive ability. Which is the highest level of cognitive ability? If anyone can give the answer, or you can unmute yourself and give answer, or you can write in chat box. What is the highest level of cognitive ability? Mr. Rajesh wrote creativity or to create. That's very much perfect. See, in order to give this answer, you must first understand what is cognition or what is cognitive ability. What is the ability? Cognitive ability means how far the brain, how far it can think. Okay. What is the end of thinking? What is the end of thinking? How far we can think for a particular topic? See, as human beings, and we are the Homo sapiens, the best creature of God. So there is no end to think. We can think beyond our thinking also. I must say that. Like, for example, the man has researched, investigated, and discovered, and tried to search the life on Mars, and still exploring the different planets. That means there is no limit to think. Creation के ऊपर भी हमारा thinking जा सकता है. So that is called the highest level of thinking and highest level of cognitive ability. That means that is our brain's capacity or the power till where we can think and create the things. Amit Kumar Dubey has written, cognitive ability may be defined that involves ability to reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly. That is absolutely correct. Creating. See, we start with the thinking or remembering or the knowledge we have. Then we proceed towards understanding the concept, then apply the concept in new and unfamiliar situation. Then we proceed toward analyzing the things, then evaluation, and then creating. So those who have written creating is the highest level of cognitive ability. That is perfectly correct. But I must tell you, in Bloom's taxonomy, the highest level of cognitive ability is creating only. But above that, different ability, one more ability is there, that is metacognition. That is the beyond the level. It is the highest level of the thinking. That may be called as not thinking, that may be called as realization of self, realization of universe, realization of God, why the things are created, how the things are getting created. So that is called as the highest level of thinking, cognitive ability. There is one more question for you all. Which are 3 H of learning and development?
Hand, head, and heart.
Very correct. Shana ma'am has given, I think, the answer. 3 H of learning and development is hand, head, and heart. As I told you earlier, that the aim of education is always the holistic development and overall development of child. So when I talk about holistic development, what does I mean? I mean the overall development, that means the development of brain of the child, development of the psychomotor skills and ability of the child, development of emotions, emotional development of the child. So overall, there should be a development of the learner or the child. So that should be the aim of education, to develop hand, heart, and head. So let's proceed. See, 3H means hand, heart, and head development. I believe many of you are trained teachers, those who have done their D.Ed and B.Ed. I'm giving multiple examples related to training, teachers training, the course D.Ed and B.Ed which we did. My examples, you will find my examples related to that only, because this theory is very much in detail. It is explained in those trainings only. So we must proceed in that way only. So those who have done B.Ed, they might have subject educational philosophy, educational psychology, and other kinds. So educational philosophy, in that subject, there were different kinds of educational philosophy, like educational philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi, educational philosophy of John Dewey, educational philosophy of Babasaheb Ambedkar, and many more. So if you remember Mahatma Gandhiji's educational philosophy, if you remember, by education, I mean an all-round drawing out of best in child and man, in body, mind, and spirit. If you try to understand it, what does this educational philosophy means? Body, mind, and child, you can relate over here. See, body means the development of the physics of the child. That means hand development. That means psychomotor development. Then mind, development of head. That means cognitive development, brain development, you may say. Then spirit, development of spirit. That is heart, or emotional development, or affective development of the child. So this was all the background for what we are going to see today. Now let's proceed actually into the, let's get into the Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so the educational psychologist Benjamin Bloom has given, along with his team, has studied over writing the educational goals and objectives, and he found out different levels of learning and thinking where the child can find himself, or the teacher who is teaching, the teacher can find out the level of the student where he stands. So he gave the taxonomy, the classification of the levels of learning into 3 categories. This is the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So cognitive, as I told you, it is related with cognitive, means it is related with, you can relate with earlier slide, like cognitive means brain development or the development of mind. Affective, that means the development of heart or the emotional development. Then psychomotor, the skill development, skill-based domain, that means the development of hand, like body development. Okay, so in cognitive development, which is a knowledge-based domain, there are 6 levels. And affective development, there are which is the attitudinal based domain. In easy language, we can say it is related to emotions, emotional development. There are 5 levels. Then psychomotor development, the psychomotor domain, which is the skill-based domain. And you all know what is psychomotor development of the motor skills in students. You might remember in preschools, we focus on a crayon to hold. Then we proceed for the pencil or the pen. That means we are developing the motor skills in students. We want fine motor skills development. So if you see it clearly and properly, you can see KAS, knowledge, attitude, and skills. So if the aim of education is holistic development, so then knowledge, we must focus on knowledge, we must focus on attitude of students, we must focus on the skills of the students. So all these three areas, all these three domains must be developed, then only we can say the educational objectives or the aim has been achieved. And this can be done, this achievement of the broad level of educational goal will be possible with the help of Bloom's taxonomy, with the correct implication of Bloom's taxonomy, meeting. See, you might have used this Bloom's taxonomy while writing lesson plans. Now also in schools, principal force to teachers to write their daily lesson plans, monthly lesson plan, their weekly lesson plan. So how we are doing this, how the Bloom's taxonomy is included in that, or how we write the educational objectives according to Bloom's taxonomy. So in DED and BEd, when we used to write and when the teachers used to write, what they used, there were a particular criteria to write the lesson plan. For example, if I may say, there were the columns, objectives and specification. Objectives, if you remember, objectives were knowledge, understanding, application, and in some other books, they used to include skills also. Okay, then we used to write teacher's activity, learner's activity according to that objective. Suppose if we are writing the objective of knowledge, what will be the knowledge? Suppose you want to teach particular topic in any subject. Okay, so your objective according to knowledge domain would be a child should be able to remember, a child should get the basic definition of something. This will be your objective. And how we write this specification? Child is able to read or write, child is able to define the terms. So that is the knowledge based domain which we can say. So this is how the Bloom's taxonomy is being used while writing the educational objectives. Objectives here, let me clear, objectives are not confined or limited to the lesson. Objectives may be like lesson based objectives or course based objectives. So course based objectives are the broader way. Proceeding next. You will see the three domains in which Bloom's, the psychologist Bloom has divided the learning objectives or the learning levels. First is revised cognitive dimension. Why revised cognitive dimension? Because previously in 1956, when Benjamin Bloom gave this taxonomy, he classified according to this: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and then evaluation. Then afterwards in 2000, Anderson and David, they switched on two levels, creating and evaluation. They switched on the upper two levels, the highest levels. So that's why it is called, now it is called revised cognitive dimension. Here you can see remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. See, most of the time, teachers or the educators, they stick themselves in explaining the cognitive domain only. There is psychomotor domain, and there are levels also, affective domain and its level. They forget to explain that, and they forget to implement that in their teaching and learning process. I'll give you the best example. If you want overall development of the child or the holistic development of child for a particular topic, if you are teaching, you need to focus on all three domains. वही टॉपिक में से बच्चे का तीनों डोमेन्स डेवलप हो जाना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if a teacher wants to teach the water, now water is being taught according to the means age. For lower standard, teaching water means to teach the water is a natural resource and we are using it for daily household chores, and then rivers and lakes, these type of examples we give in teaching while we teach water. As we move ahead for the students of standard 5th, 6th, 7th, we teach them water like 7th standard if we are talking about. So we teach them water is formed by hydrogen and oxygen. Then we start teaching chemistry part to them. Then their objective is different. And moving on higher grades, like then we start teaching the water and how it is available in nature. Sometimes teachers gives example and some they explain in detail, like there is only 21% of water is available and rest other on earth and rest other things are there. And in that 21% also only 1% water which is available, that is potable water and drinking water. Rest of the water is salty water, the water from ocean, which is not used for drinking purpose. So all these things teacher has explained to the child, but then too while implementing it or while applying it, and by the child, I'm sorry, while applying this knowledge gain, teacher has explained everything, but teacher fails to explain, fails to develop the emotional or the affective domain of the child. How? Because child wastes the water. If he wastes the water, like keeping the tap open, not realizing the water is getting wasted, तो उस टाइम पे उसका इमोशनल और अफेक्टिव डोमेन का डेवलपमेंट हुआ ही नहीं. वी गेव द कॉग्निटिव डोमेन का सारा उसको नॉलेज दे दिया, लाइक रिमेम्बरिंग, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, अप्लाई भी कर लिया, एनालाइज, क्रिएटिंग एंड इवैल्यूएटिंग, एवरीथिंग हैज बीन डन. इवैल्यूएशन भी हो गया, लाइक वी गेव क्वेश्चन पेपर एंड स्टूडेंट सॉल्व्ड इट. We asked multiple choice question, we asked elaborative questions, and so many things. But emotional development, what about that? Affective domain, the teacher has not touched that thing. So this should not happen in the classroom. So taking the classroom situation into consideration, teacher has to write educational objectives and the teacher has to implement it properly so that we can have all domains development equally. See, out of these all three domains, cognitive domain is of much more importance because it is based on the brain's development. I'm sorry, class. See how actually we are going to use it, that we will see now. The first level, that is remembering level, we need to go from lowest to highest. See, teacher's intention should be, teacher has to take the child from lowest level of this thinking or learning to the highest level. Every teacher should think, or every teacher should formulate his or her learning objectives in this way. So first step is, you see the remember, I'll give you the examples also. First level, if you see the remembering stage, remembering is like recalling relevant knowledge from long-term memory. See, remembering stage, that only the definition kind of thing that cannot be changed, which is the universal truth. For example, the living things are living things, we cannot change it. Non-living things are non-living things, we cannot change it. Okay, so student just has to remember as it is. For example, the name has to remember as it is. If you ask the child, if teacher is teaching like Delhi is a city and it is the capital of India, so child will remember it as it is. There will be no changes in it. Okay, Delhi is the city and it is the capital of India. Then next time if you ask student which city is the capital of India, then student answers Delhi is the capital of India. That means he got the first level of learning. He is at the first level of learning. That means he can remember the things. He has the basic knowledge. So next, proceeding towards the understanding. So in order to understand, you must first remember the things. In order to understand, the child must have the basic knowledge. Jab tak knowledge level or the remembering level achieve nahi hoga, child cannot understand the things. So what does it means understanding? Making sense of what you have learned. Making sense of what you have learned means, like now, taking similar example, child knows that Delhi is the city of India and it is the capital of India. Now, if now teacher asks to locate the city Delhi in the map of India. Now, child will start thinking, Delhi usko pata hai, it is the city. Now he will start thinking and he will he will be able to understand how the city Delhi will be in the map of India. There are much more examples. I hope the teachers can relate to their particular subject. What will be the understanding level? What will be the remembering level? Now proceeding towards applying, use the knowledge gained in new ways. I remember we used to write the objectives and a specification of this particular criteria, like applying, application. What we used to write is, child is able to apply his her knowledge gained in new and unfamiliar situation. That means the teacher has given proper knowledge and proper understanding of the particular topic. Now child is able to apply that knowledge in unfamiliar situation. If I'll give you example of this, like for example, the teacher is teaching gravity to the child. Gravity means the things if you throw from up, it will go to the it will be with the help of gravitational force, it will come down. Ye child ko pata hai. Now while playing, child applies this knowledge. How the child applies this knowledge? While throwing the ball and his friends catching it. So this in this way, the application level, child will reach the application level. So in order to apply his knowledge, child must thoroughly understand the topic, whatever topic he want to apply in his daily life situation or new and unfamiliar situation. Child should understand the concept properly. Otherwise, the child cannot apply the knowledge gained. Proceeding towards analyzing. Now, analyzing, see, remembering, understanding, and applying are the lower level of the cognitive domain, and the higher levels are analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Now we will see what is analyzing and how we can write teaching objectives in analyzing part. So in analyzing, breaking the concept into parts and understand how each part is related to one another. Now the child is at this level where he can remember, understand, and he applied his knowledge. Now he starts to break the concept into smaller parts and analyze the things. Analyze the things. If I want to give you an example, for example, we taught the student about the friction. Okay, friction from the physics chapter. Okay, so we taught what does friction means. Child ने इसको समझ भी लिया. When we open or close the door, sometimes there is a noise. When we pull the chair or table, sometimes there is a noise. So child has applied his knowledge. Now the teacher at this level, teacher asks the student what we can do to reduce the friction. Now child starts analyzing. Friction क्यों हो रहा है? Because of rough surface. If we make the surface smooth, there will be no friction. or the friction will be reduced to a certain level. Okay, so child start breaking the concept and starts analyzing the things. That is the stage where you can find your student. See, these stages and these levels of learning or thinking are very much important while writing educational objectives, even while framing the question paper, because while framing the question paper, many a times teacher don't keep in mind कि हमें analyzing application based questions भी डालने हैं. They only give multiple choice questions or knowledge based question. उनके question paper में, if you can see, बस knowledge check होता है. What about application? What about analyzing? And what about evaluation and creating higher level? Those things are not there in question paper. So I request all the teachers to keep it in mind while framing the question paper and while writing the educational objectives. Then evaluating stage. It is the higher stage, making judgment based on a set of guidelines. Now child has crossed the analyzing level. उसने समझ लिया है about the concept of a particular topic. Here I want to give you a non-educational example. For example, you want to select one out of two dresses. दो dresses आपके पास है, उसमें से एक को select करना है. What all are the things you keep in mind? What all are the things? Design आप देखोगे, design, fabric, okay, the cost, then weather friendly है कि नहीं, weather friendly dress है कि नहीं. All these things you will keep in mind. New arrivals है कि नहीं, fashion, out of fashion तो नहीं है. All these things you will start making the judgments. आप bifurcation करना start कर दोगे, differentiate करना start कर दोगे कि दो dresses में कौन सा अच्छा है, how should I choose it. तो आप एक dress select करने के लिए इतनी सारी चीजें देखते हो, then you take the proper decision. आपका decision किस चीज पे based होता है? You take the decision on the basis that this dress is perfect one with in terms of color, in terms of design, in terms of fashion, and in terms of costing. You took a decision. So here it is same kind for students also. They should be able to take the decision. For example, you taught the children about the living things and non-living things, and you jumble up some things in front of the child, or you ask the child to observe the things and bifurcate living things and non-living things. The child starts to remember, child starts to understand, child applies his knowledge, child starts to analyze the things. Analyze करने लग जाता है कि कौन सी चीजों में living, जिनकी similar category है उनको एक side रखना है, then non-living things should be put together. And he takes the decision, these are the living things, these are the non-living things. That is called as the evaluating stage. I think you all are getting it.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyways, proceeding further. Creating is the highest level. Here, if I'll give you example, I'll give you example related to, I just keep on giving examples with science, physics, and chemistry and all. I'll give you an example of languages. Suppose you are a language teacher. You taught, you frame the educational objective. Suppose you want to teach a chapter or the poem to student. जो भी topic होगा आपका, हिंदी और मराठी or any language. तो how the teachers frame their educational objectives. आप lesson जब पढ़ाने जाते हैं उसके पहले जो आपका plan होता है, what do you think? आप ये सोचते हो कि child should understand the story, child should know the rhyming word, the opposite word, उसको ये आ जाना चाहिए, उसको मात्रा और basic चीजें आप लोग ध्यान में रखते हैं, and you frame your educational objectives like that. But what about the evaluating and creating the highest level? How you will include that into your educational objectives? For example, if for higher standard like 9, 10, 12, 11, teachers should teach the language in such a way that child should prompt himself कि मुझे लैंग्वेज टीचर बनना है, या फिर आई शुड राइट अ बुक, मुझे बुक लिखना है, आई शुड राइट अ पोएम, मुझे एक पोएम लिखना है, that much motivation should be given by the teacher. Now to reach up to the creating level, student का development इतना अच्छे से होना चाहिए in its basic levels और the lowest level में इतना अच्छे से हो जाना चाहिए, like आपने बच्चे को languages पढ़ाया for several years, now the child is able to write his own book, story book or the educational book, whatever. अगर वो बच्चे ने लिख लिया, that means your educational objective or your educational aim has been achieved. You should be proud on yourself. You should be proud on yourself if child reach up to the creating level, and each teacher should motivate that. For example, science teacher, the social science teacher, अगर आप history पढ़ा रहे हो बच्चों को, तो you give such examples. The emperors के example अगर आप देते हो, तो you give in such a way the child want to become like them. For example, reformers, child wants to become social reformers. पहले तो freedom fighters होते थे, लेकिन अगर आप social studies पढ़ा रहे हो, तो आपके educational objectives इस तरह से होना चाहिए कि the child should relate himself with that particular person and he wants to become according to that. Like बहुत सारे बच्चे बोलते हैं कि मुझे सचिन तेंदुलकर बनना है. क्यों? Because उसने जो अचीव किया है सचिन तेंदुलकर, if we take the example, the skills he has, the knowledge he has, और टीचर ने इतना अच्छे से explain किया कि child wants to become like that. So I think I have given sufficient time on this, the very much important slide. Shall we proceed? See, in short, I'll tell you the aim of objective, the writing objective, educational objective. अगर आप लिख रहे हो, तो what should be your aim? Your aim should be like you should allow the child to think. You should allow the child to rethink. You should allow the child to develop an understanding. You should allow the child to apply his or her knowledge in new and unfamiliar situation. You should allow the child to analyze and take the decision according to based on his or her analysis. You should allow the child to synthesize his or her own new findings or new way उसने कुछ create करना चाहिए और कुछ synthesize करना चाहिए. This should be the aim of education and the aim of each teacher who is taking classes. Proceeding, this is just for the reference, Digital Bloom's taxonomy. Now we all are taking online classes, so how to implement it, I'm not go much in detail about it, but you can see here the YouTube is being used for remembering. Okay, knowledge के लिए हम YouTube वगैरह जैसे videos दिखा दिया, PPTs दिखा दिया, that we can use for remembering. Then understanding, it is much beyond. For developing an understanding, child should be able to send email, or child should be able to use Skype for video conferencing. Applying के लिए और कुछ अलग से है. Then analyzing, evaluating, you can see here Wikipedia and Google. Child should be able to use different digital platforms and different websites to evaluate the things and take the proper decision. Then creating is the highest level. Creating is the highest level. Nowadays, you might be knowing about coding. Coding is a trend. White Hat Junior and all such companies, they are focusing on coding. Okay, so what is coding? Creating his or her own app, creating the game. This is called as creating. बहुत कुछ सीख लिया, अब कुछ करने की बात है. That is called as creating. Proceeding towards affective domain. See, affective domain, as I told you earlier, it is based on emotion of the child or the spirit. जैसे हमने महात्मा गांधी जी का educational philosophy देखा, in that he says spirit has been developed. Spirit has to be developed. That is nothing but the affective domain. It involves feelings, attitudes, and emotion of the child. It deals with external and internal phenomena emotionally, such as values, enthusiasm, and motivations. Here, I would like to say you about the 4 elements. If anyone knows about 4 elements, what are 4 elements? कोई बोलना चाहेगा? What are 4 elements?
Receiving, responding, valuing, organize,
Remember,
receiving,
somewhat it is correct, ma'am. And thank you for responding, because only I kept on talking, and that is not the great educational teaching and learning process. The learner should also involved in the teaching and learning process. So I would like to interact with you all. If someone can give the answer. Core elements, or I can say values. See, again, I'll give you the example. You don't get bored about it. D.Ed and B.Ed में हमने पढ़ा था the inculcation of 4 elements in your teaching. I'll give you best example for this is core elements. आपको पता होगा there are 10 core elements. नहीं पता होगा तो I'll revise it. The core elements like national integration, dignity of labor, है ना? Equality, egalitarianism, secularism, and inculcation of scientific temper, democracy, small family norms. These all were the core elements which our teacher wanted us to inculcate in our lecture when we used to take the demo lectures in classroom. We were asked to use these 4 elements while we teach a particular topic. जैसे मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया था वाटर का, जब टीचर वाटर पढ़ा रहे, एट दैट टाइम टीचर मस्ट गिव examples and in such a way that child develops his or her emotional and affective domain. While we used to teach, and well, I used to take the mathematics classes. अगर मुझे पढ़ाना है triangle, okay, और अगर मुझे पढ़ाना है square, so how I can inculcate those core elements so that child develops his or her affective domain also. अगर मुझे square पढ़ाना है तो I used to say small family norms. I used to inculcate small family norms into this, like हम दो and हमारे दो, and in triangle also हम दो and हमारा एक. Why? Because population, there are adverse effects of population. So we should explain child in our teaching only. बीच में हमें हमारे topics के और subjects के और lesson के बीच में include करना पड़ेगा this type of 4 elements which develops child's affective domain. For example, equality. Equality तो हम पढ़ा ही सकते हैं, child male and female equality. See, in previously, if you check the textbooks में अगर आप देखो तो only boys names were given. Rohit has 3 chocolates. Anil has 4 chocolates or 5 kites. Then eventually it started developing, और फिर उसमें आने लगे लड़कियों के नाम भी, like both male and female should be given equal importance. So this type of things teacher only can include in his or her teaching so that the child's affective domain will be developed properly. Here you can see the levels of affective domain: receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, characterizing by a value complex. Receiving, if you see, willing to give attention to an event or activity. Like teacher gives such kind of example. Suppose teacher want to explain population or poverty. So teacher explains in such a way that child start developing sympathetic or empathetic nature towards the poor children. जब ये चीज होने लगेगी, then only we can say the child's affective domain has also been developed along with the cognitive domain. For this, teacher has to take special efforts. बिना efforts के नहीं होगा. All teachers must give such kind of examples. So I think I have to inculcate those things in your teaching and learning process. I like inculcation of scientific temper. If you say science जब हम पढ़ाते हैं तो I as a teacher I always inculcate that try to inculcate scientific temper in students. जहाँ पे superstitions का कोई जगह नहीं हो, students will be able to think logically with reasons and all. वहाँ पे superstition का कोई भी scope नहीं हो. So this type of things you can include in your teaching, teachers, and you will see that your lesson goes very well and you will feel proud on yourself. Proceeding towards this psychomotor domain. There are levels of psychomotor domain: imitation, manipulation, precision, articulation, and naturalization. So imitation is just learn by watching and imitating actions. See, so for example, if you're taking science practical in a laboratory, you first give demo. Teacher used to give demo, how the teacher is holding the equipment of laboratory. Then the teacher asks the students to perform. The child imitate the action of the teacher. So teacher's action should be proper so that it will be imitated by the learner and it goes well. Then comes manipulation. Actions performed through memorization or following directions. What does it mean, manipulation? For example, if a coach, if we will take the example of sports, if a sports coach is giving coaching to
Hello, madam. Hello, madam. Your voice is not audible.
hello, am I audible
Yes,
now?
yes, it's perfect.
Sorry for the disturbance. So child starts manipulating the thing. Teacher name, the coach has given us such instruction, but I think if I throw the ball like this in this direction, if I hold the bat like this, this will give me the proper outcomes what I want. This is called as manipulation. Then precision, performance become more exact and action are more precise. See, here I'll give you example. For example, a particular person, you believe that this thing will be done by this particular person only. For example, if you are arranging a particular event in your school or कुछ भी आप function organize करते हो, तो you start thinking which person can do it properly, who can make rangoli perfectly. Okay, so आपको believe होता है कि no, Varsha teacher will handle the rangoli part properly. That means you have that belief. By default, he or she will do it properly. That means you have that confidence that this particular task will be done by that particular person. आपको ये पता है कि ये उसमें skills है. That is the precision. आपको पता है कि और exact or actions are more precise and more exact for the particular task to be done. Then articulation, several skills can perform together in a harmonious way. Now, the best example of it is dancing. Dancing अगर आप देखो, then hand movement, body movement, then brain also works together. That is called as articulation. Like the learner becomes so skillful that he or she can perform all the tasks together in a harmonious way. Then the highest level of the psychomotor domain is naturalization. High level of performance achieved with actions becoming second nature. While reading only, you can understand what does this level mean. Proceeding towards why use Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, why use Bloom's taxonomy to write learning objectives? Okay, to write learning objectives means teacher, when entering in the classroom, beforehand, the teacher used to write learning objectives. Teachers के specific objectives होते हैं, like what at the end of this particular topic, my child should be able to define the living things. My child should be able to differentiate between living and non-living things. I'm just giving an example. Teacher may relate according to their subjects. Okay, so that is how we can use Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, then to plan curriculum, I told you earlier also, to plan curriculum is like the course based objectives. पूरा course खत्म करने के बाद what behavioral changes you want in your learner. आपको क्या बिहेवियरल चेंजेस चाहिए, उसका ब्रेन डेवलप हो जाना चाहिए, अफेक्टिव इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट हो जाना चाहिए, स्किल्स डेवलप हो जानी चाहिए. दैट विल बी द प्लान, हाउ टू प्लान द करिकुलम प्लानिंग. और जो एजुकेशनल के एम है वो ये भी है कि द स्टूडेंट्स शुड बी एबल टू वी मस्ट गेट द फ्यूचर लीडर्स, है ना. आप सपोज I'll give you example of engineers हमारे पास बहुत है. Are they getting all employed? है क्या? नहीं, बहुत सारे engineers है, they are working in Zomato and all. Why? Just because of lack of guidance, lack of the skills they want, उनको job नहीं मिला है. So this should not happen. So for all these things, the educational objectives, we must keep in mind the Bloom's taxonomy. To align objectives to assessment techniques and standards. Assessment techniques, see, once again, I'll give you example of question paper. Setting up a question paper, many teachers, they don't even use the blueprint. यहाँ वहां से questions assemble कर देते हैं and they merge it एक word file में and then they used to give it. लेकिन नॉलेज को कितना वेटेज होना चाहिए, अंडरस्टैंडिंग को कितना वेटेज होना चाहिए, एप्लीकेशन को कितना वेटेज होना चाहिए, टीचर फॉरगेट समटाइम्स. So this should not happen. Assessment techniques should be based on this Bloom's taxonomy. If teachers thoroughly revise it, Bloom's taxonomy, and if teachers frame their question paper according to this, the question paper will be so formed that all our educational objectives and all our lesson objectives and course objectives will be achieved. Incorporate. Now next is to incorporate knowledge to be learned effectively. Incorporate knowledge to be learned effectively. You can relate it easily. जो भी knowledge लिया है बच्चों ने, that should be understand well, that should be applied well, that should be analyzed and evaluated well to facilitate permanent acquisition of learning. See, whatever you are teaching, that should be permanent. Okay, for example, you're giving definitions can't be changed, that is permanent. So in similar way, all knowledge, if you are giving, whatever you are giving to child should be permanent. Child should not forget it, it should be for lifelong. Then to help students develop higher thinking skills, you know HOTS, higher order thinking levels. उस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस बनाने के लिए एंड उस टाइप का असेसमेंट के लिए दिस ब्लूम्स टैक्सोनॉमी इज वेरी मच हेल्पफुल to write the objectives in the level of creating, to write the objectives in the level of synthesizing, to write the objectives in the level of evaluating. That will help you to develop the higher thinking skills in students. Now, this is just the verbs which you can use to write your educational objectives. That is, remembering में क्या आता है? Define, name, identify, list or state. For example, define living things, or define the triangle, define four-sided figure. This kind of things can be included in remembering. Then name the cities of India. Name the parts of human, name the parts of plants. This type of things can be included in remembering. Then understanding, if you see, classify, describe, explain, summarize, distinguish. Tell, list. Okay, such type of words can be used. This is just for your reference. You can screenshot of this, or if the madam will sharing the PPT with you, that will be good for you. So same thing has been put here. Tell, list, describe, relate, locate, write, find, state, okay, name, recall. Then in applying, slow, show, use, illustrate. See, in applying, I'll give you example for this. While solving the mathematical sum, आपने बच्चों को सिखा दिया numbers, 2-digit number, 3 digits number, their addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Now you ask students to frame their own equation. Now you ask students to solve the word problem. That is called as applying. उन्होंने जो भी सीख लिया, that the child is able to apply that knowledge. So this type of verbs can be used to frame educational
Can you go to the
objectives and the
previous slide,
questions.
please?
This one, understanding?
Yeah, 1 second, ma'am. And before that also one slide is there, na?
This one, remembering.
Remembering. 1 second. Yeah, thank you.
So analyzing, like distinguish between man-made things and the man-made things and natural resources and the things that are already available in the nature. Distinguish karna, that is called as analyzing. Child starts to think, that is called as, see, आप लोगों ने ये भी पढ़ा होगा while you prepare your class, methodology of teaching, which method of teaching you are using. Okay, जिसमें होता है simple to complex, और आप अलग अलग से मेथड यूज करते हो ना, लाइक ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग, डिबेट, रोल प्ले मेथड, explanation method, lecture method. These all types of methods are there, methodology which you use. तो आपने ये सारी methodology use करके and you know how to put particular topic in front of the student. हमें simple to complex जाना है, हमें whole to part जाना है, और हमको like invisible to visible, concrete to abstract, इस तरह से जाना है. There are different kinds of methodology of teaching. You just go through it in detail. अभी उतना time doesn't allow me to go in much detail, but you just prepare yourself well. See, if you find your child at the level of applying, और आपने class start किया knowledge से, remembering से अगर आप start करते हो, तो that child will get bored. उसको वो highest level पे already है, तो उसको उसके लेवल का टीचिंग एंड उसके लेवल के एक्सपीरियंसेस, उसके लेवल के एग्जांपल्स चाहिए. सो हाउ यू कैन डू दिस? यू जस्ट आइडेंटिफाई योर द क्राउड, आइडेंटिफाई योर क्लास, हाउ मेनी स्टूडेंट्स आर एट नॉलेज लेवल, हाउ मेनी स्टूडेंट्स आर एट अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेवल, हाउ मेनी स्टूडेंट्स आर एट द अप्लाइंग और एनालाइजिंग लेवल. सो ये करने के लिए आप कैसे कर सकते हो? How you will do this? तो आपको अपना लेसन इस तरीके से बनाना होगा. Like if more number of students are there at applying level, so you must start your class from application level only. You can't start from knowledge. And sometimes it may happen like some students, they are not at the remembering level also, and you start teaching applying level or analyzing level. आप बताना शुरू कर देते हो कि डिस्टिंग्विश करो, डिफरेंशिएट करो, कौन से पार्ट ह्यूमन, आप बोलते हो कि डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम एक्सप्लेन करो, इलस्ट्रेट विद एग्जांपल, ड्रॉ डायग्राम, जबकि चाइल्ड को पता ही नहीं है व्हाट आर इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स एंड व्हाट आर एक्सटर्नल ऑर्गन्स ऑफ ह्यूमन बॉडी. सो यू मस्ट फर्स्ट थिंक अबाउट इट. आप कौन किस लेवल पे है आपका स्टूडेंट, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट यू मस्ट प्रोसीड. Then creating, these are the verbs which you can use while writing educational objectives for creating, create, invent, compose, originate, add to, forecast. See, invent आप अगर बोलना चाहो तो, for example, your science exhibitions लेते हो, okay, so student make the models. कुछ उसमें से वर्किंग मॉडल्स होते हैं, कुछ लाइक जस्ट थर्माकोल के सेटअप होते हैं, एंड सो यू आस्क योर स्टूडेंट टू इन्वेंट सम अदर थिंग्स. आपने जैसे सपोज आप इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पढ़ा रहे स्टूडेंट्स को, सो यू गिव ample of examples, ample of opportunities for students to develop their creation और invent करने के लिए उनको examples दो, so that they can invent. आप उनको बता सकते हो कि like food material से भी electricity generate होता है, लेमन से, पोटैटो बैटरी, लेमन बैटरी आप लोगों ने देखा होगा. So that type of example should be given by the teacher. Teacher should be proactive. Teacher को पता होना चाहिए कि which kind of example I must give in my class. ये पहले से ही पता होना चाहिए आप लोगों को. I think I have done with it. Thank you so much, and I'm open for the question and your reflection or feedback if you want.
Thank you, ma'am, for the very good session. The attendance link has been updated. It is shared on the chat box. So all the teachers, please add your feedback in the attendance. And yes, it was a very nice and a lively session. Thank you so much, ma'am.